welcome to Accidental Crusade.
For the Emperor!
I am your host, Mark, and this is Digital and Dice's Wrath and Glory 40K role-playing podcast, and I am joined today by voiceover guy Brian.
I am here, and I am ready to throw things with my brain.
I am also joined by Lysander.
Greetings.
I'm going to keep going back and forth by Lysander and Lysander.
I'm used to it.
That's fair. Also joined by Dammit.
He is Mr. Tentacles.
And, of course, by Cat.
Hey, y'all.
So, we are, of course, where we last left our intrepid acolytes. You are on the world of Argentum, Hive City Ordinus.
Sorta sucks.
Yeah, a little bit. You have been sent out into the Hive by Inquisitor Viclin Melbrand to investigate Tobias Endrot, a noble high up in the echelons of the PDF and Arbiti's local groups, as he may be the person who will be able to point you in the direction, after maybe a little bit of pointed persuasion, where you might be able to find where all of this tech is getting to the hands of these cultists. As you have been told by Viclin Melbrand, trust no one. The nobility, the authorities, everyone on this planet has the potential of being one of these cultists, and that you should act with subtlety, and that you should never play your hand that you are a member of his most holy Inquisition.
Subtlety's my middle name.
It is it?
No.
No.
Mine is Drusis. That's after Saint Drusis.
I didn't realize people had middle names.
I don't think I have one.
My middle name's actually Mud. My first name's Magnolia Grace. It's one word.
I just have one name, although I've
Grace
heard in rare
is not
instances of people
middle?
having a second one.
You'd think Grace would be middle.
No, Grace isn't my middle name. It's like Peggy Sue or Lucy May or
You have hyphen?
yeah, there's a hyphen there.
Okay. Good to know.
Maggie Grace.
Where we last left you, you were on the Grav train heading into the Mid-Hive, where you're headed to a bar known as the Bravest. So where we find you now is the Grav train is pulling up to one of the stations in this portion of the Hive where the map that you were given and the coordinates that you were sent out are telling you that this is where you need to be. You are given the option, of course, as if you wish to locate a safe house of your own, or if you just wish to use the Manufactorum out in the ruins, it is totally fine to do that. But if you wish to find a spot for yourselves, you can attempt to procure one on your own. In this case, this is where we would have an interaction with how to use, like, say, the wealth system.
I think that would actually be a good idea to try to acquire a domicile that we can secure ourselves.
Da.
I feel that is the safer option given our situation.
The Inquisitor Melbrand, let it not be heresy, gives me strange feelings and thinking he might not be all he says he is.
I got this feeling like when he said you should trust nobody, he meant himself.
I am also of this opinion.
I have a feeling that Inquisitors do what Inquisitors do, and we really shouldn't question them.
It's alright, I got me a inquisitorial seal made out of a potato. It's very convincing. We don't need him, we can be us.
That is actually quite impressive. Wow.
Yeah.
You made that out of a potato?
Yeah. We ate the other half yesterday.
Starch is impressed with anything that is gluten-based.
He likes him some starch. He's a man of taste.
Well, I mean,
Get it?
Starch rations are where my family made their original fortune back on Hive Tarsus. It was frozen rations.
So influence is how you would go about this. So depending on how you guys want to do this, you can attempt to reach out to different groups. You can attempt to go find something as a civilian, or use some of your rank or ability to try to acquire yourself a place. In this instance, it would be an influence check, and you may actually, if you wish, attempt to spend wealth to gain bonus die on that check.
So I would actually like to use our cover and try to get essentially some high functionary to front us some office space that we might utilize so that we can further review the viability of moving a substantial amount of ore refinery positions to this hive.
Okay.
The Trovaxian mining combine looking to expand.
So we need to find an outpost of Adeptus boring Ishiticus and find an office.
Hey, what did you call me?
I mean, actually, if you look hard enough, pretty much anywhere you stand in a hive, you can probably find some Adeptus of boring Ishiticus.
So in this way, you're actually going to be using your influence to establish authority rather than purchase. So, and that's fine because you do have some paperwork as
I've got inquisitorial grade bullshit right here.
Yes.
And by George, am I going to use it?
You got like a real one over here. If you just,
Well, we don't want to advertise that we are part of the Inquisitor, right?
Yes, we want to use the bullshit.
Use your skill. We are not talking about you. Do not take personal.
All right, I'll just play my banjo and look pretty.
So in this
Oh,
instance, what I will say is because of the fact that you do have the paperwork in front of you that puts you out to be this particular kind of noble and kind of that cover story, the difficulty of this influence check is going to be 4. So if you're going to attempt that roll, we're going to say that currently you do not have any matching keywords except for example, Imperium, if you wish. So a matching keyword in this one, because what keywords do you have?
Keywords is Imperium, Psyker.
Okay, so we're not using Psyker.
Yes.
So the fact that you share a single keyword means that you can make the roll.
Yes.
You're attempting to use your Imperial clout to basically get the thing. But Psyker's not going to help you in this one.
No, it's not. I don't think I have any keywords other than human and Imperium.
Okay.
Astra Militarum or Militarum Tempestus?
Neither are going to assist you in this because
Hey, boring Ishiticus, you're up.
Ordo Hereticus over here.
Does that help?
That
Nope.
is not a keyword you
not
want
in
to
this
use.
one.
No, we would need administratum or
So
something.
here's-
to that effect.
I'm
See,
sorry.
That's the one.
do
Boring
you have
Ishiticus.
do you have administratum?
I do not. I have Inquisition or Ordo Hereticus.
Okay.
See,
Okay.
you're not boring Shiticus.
Here's a stretch, but Adeptus Mechanicus. I actually have quite some pull.
You do indeed. I will allow that to gain a bonus die on the test then. Who is making the roll?
I will choose
His
to.
lordship.
All right, so
Wait,
I
we
will
need a
assist.
peopler?
I do not believe you can actually assist in an influence roll.
So the reason
Okay.
I say that is just because I will take it, because if we're going to use my sway with the Adeptus Mechanicus, I would prefer to take the roll. Thankfully, as far as people with influence goes, you might be surprised at how influential Arghast is.
Oh my, that's
Whatever you say, Mr. Tentacles.
I mean, that really didn't help that my rolls have not improved
No.
since last episode.
See, that was actually what I was afraid of.
Hey, big roller.
Now, you remember, since this is technically still the scene that we're doing, you have a single point of glory here, but you also have personal wrath.
Yes.
Wrath can be used to reroll.
I would like to spend one of my personal wraths to reroll, and I can reroll all
failed
failed
dice.
Now, would
Oh.
a wrath die actually be included in this? Is that
Yes.
it?
You are still
Oh.
including your wrath die.
Well, you get a ruin, and you can't reroll the die, so.
Okay.
Vast improvement. I have achieved 6 icons.
6 icons. Okay.
4, and then the ability to shift if it is relevant.
Okay. So a success, you can shift if you have the exalted icon above the 4.
I do.
Okay.
What would a shift?
You can either make it be that it happens quicker, or that it might improve the outcome a little bit.
Let's improve the outcome.
Okay. So what we will say is that as you are attempting to use your clout, you go and you speak to a few people. You mention that your liege is going to be attempting to stay on planet for a little bit as you're investigating the different mining concerns and what have you, and that you need a place that, as a member of the Adeptus Mechanicus, that you can utilize what is in this particular potential office space to your advantage. We will say that due to your complication, that they mentioned that there is something they have available that currently quite a lot of their other visiting nobility spaces are kind of already being used by various other visiting dignitaries. But someone of your stature, of course, would be perhaps maybe a little bit more comfortable in an area slightly more industrial. So you are able to be assigned a particular small storage warehouse, for lack of a better example. And you are given directions as well as access information, and you put all of your information down into the system as this is something that I have requisitioned, etc. And they basically go down with you. It takes about 20 minutes or so of travel throughout the mid-hive, which, as I'll describe it as you make your way there, the inhabited portions of the mid-hive it's night and day from the ruins. Whereas the ruins were empty streets, rubble, burned out buildings, this is vibrant and living. There are lights everywhere, massive signs blinking, there's commerce happening, people milling about in their thousands on the streets. There are actual motorways where people are moving around in various different makes of imperial vehicles. Every so often you'll see an RBT's transport making its way down with half tracks. But then just as quickly you'll see some of the locals have nice, kind of smooth chrome exterior vehicles that are gliding along on the thoroughfares. The mid-hive, because it's the majority of the kind of average Joes of the Imperium, you're seeing kind of the wide stretch between the people who are walking around in barely hanging on rags and the people who are wearing clothing that seems to be half made of holograms that are shifting around their body as they move. It's a very large gap that you're seeing, but a lot of them are mixing about. And every so often you see people who are a little bit more important walking around with augmented bodyguards, standing in a cordon around them, literally shoving people out of the way as they make their way down the streets.
And that behavior is seen as totally normal?
Yeah, people are just giving them a wide berth and moving around. It doesn't seem to be a thing that a lot of people are really worried about, except for the people who get in the way, in which case the bodyguard will usually just kind of grab someone and shove them off to the side so that they don't get anywhere close to the magnificently gowned and coated individuals who you can't quite tell what they have going on. Their faces obscured by veils that are hanging down with imagery shifting along them. As they're walking along, you can hear the faint clink of what sounds like augmetic legs beneath the gown moving as they go along.
I'd like to keep a weather eye out for danger.
Okay. Go ahead and make me an awareness roll while this is going on.
Ooh, I'm good at that.
You are led down to where they basically roll up a gate, and inside, the immediate thing that hits you is the smell of engine grease mixed with the smell of burned rubber industry, and this faint tang towards the end, which is like an acrid chemical of some kind. The person showing you, it says that the previous people that inhabited this particular small area were using it for industrial solvents and basically dissolving of various different organic matter, but they're fairly certain that the connections here will be more than satisfactory. It does have access to the basic hub system of the hive, so if you need to access the information net or anything of that, there is a system here that can handle that for you. But of course, if this isn't to your liking, we might be able to find something maybe next week when something opens up.
This will be sufficient for simple servers as myself. In a week, if it is necessary, my lord will probably prefer more luxurious accommodations, but this will suffice for the time being.
It smells like home, but bad.
I got 8 icons, 2 of them exalted, 1 of them a thing, a doohickey.
Oh, you got some glory? All right.
Glorious.
Glory.
Very glorious. So
Much
when
wow.
you're looking around, you'll definitely see, again, with the wide kind of breadth of all these different kinds of people going around, that every so often through walking along the streets, you see that there are people who they stand out just because of how just average they look. Some people are meandering about. They give you a really odd feeling, but you're unsure as to how to place it. Some of them, because almost every single person you're seeing has some form of augmetic here. Just because of how dangerous it is to live and work in the Imperium, A lot of people are equipped with a replacement limb of some kind, augmetics to replace an internal organ that are bulky enough to still be seen on the outside, stuff like that. But some of the people you're noting have more subtle augmetics, and augmetics as opposed to just replacements. Some of them look definitely more of the noble class. Definitely the people with money seem to have the better quality stuff. But every so often you'll see someone looking a little bit more average, that also seems to give off that air like they're moving with a little too much grace. Something about the way that they plant their feet, it seems almost a little heavier than it should be. Things like that. And you note that from time to time. No individual specifically, but here and there you've been seeing that.
Don't look now, but I think that guy's kind of giving me a funny feeling.
And
that guy.
Once our hosts are on their way, I reach out with cynicians to check the reflections of this area.
Okay. Go ahead and roll cynicians. Arghast, as you're looking around, there is a cogitator.
Let's move that glory die up one.
All right.
Hey,
as you're checking out the
3.
cogitator that's built into kind of an office room area outside, off the main kind of warehouse floor. It's like 50 feet by 50 feet is what you're looking at, with a rolling gate on the front and a door that leads kind of into a hallway system in the back for the rest of the building.
It's 7 icons, and I'd like to shift for more information if it's relevant. And you set the difficulty number low enough.
So you're able to shift it. I'll say that you're getting an extra effect here if you'd like.
Yes.
As you reach out with your senses, you're starting to kind of get little tidbits of like the history of what was going on here. You're able to reach out, and for a lot of it, you sense purpose. You sense activity. You sense urgency. You get these emotions as if like people are, they're working very hard towards a goal and they're attempting to get it done, and they're very proud of their work. And then towards the end of where the feelings are strongest because they're more recent, as you're kind of reaching and feeling them, you note that there's surprise, there's confusion, there's this dark, deep pit of something towards one of the barrels near the back, and then everything else seems fine. It feels empty until you guys arrived.
Oh, well, hell. Whoever was working here, I think they're murdered in the barrel over there. Just for your own personal knowledge.
Oh, great. I would like to go investigate the barrel.
There's a sealed industrial barrel in the corner.
Cool. I would like to pry top off.
Okay. We'll just let you have that. So you grab a nearby tool because there's several around, and you grab that and you hear the creaking pop of the top of the barrel kind of coming loose, and first immediately the smell of industrial acids boils out, and you're left coughing for a moment. And go ahead and make me a toughness test, please.
Okay.
So that would just be your toughness stat.
Okay.
No wrath die for this one.
Yeah, I'm learning.
Yay!
No.
Okay, so you are left coughing,
You touch my dice.
hacking, and wheezing as you inhale this just gout of fumes. And we'll say you take 1 point of shock as you kind of have to step back and you're coughing, almost gagging. The rest of you look over and you see this kind of bubbling, greenish, foamy substance sitting in there. And it's definitely the smell hits all of you very quickly.
Starchy.
I hope we at least shut the door before we decided to start poking around.
I'll go shut that door right now if that's all right with you.
Hey, Starchy.
I put on my rebreather. That seems like a good idea.
It smells like your mom.
My mother.
That's no way to talk to your lord.
So, but
I
yes.
forgot
I have
what
a
she
helmet.
smells like.
I have a helmet.
Oh, yeah,
I have a helmet.
Are you wearing it this whole time?
No.
Okay.
It
Fair.
is
Put on my helmet.
I mean, you can now. Yeah. You reach down, you pull up your, you put it on, so you guys just hear this kind of, this echoey crackling. coming from inside the helmet.
It is the way.
And, nice. So yes, there's definitely a barrel full of what seems to be industrial-grade solvents and or acids that has just been bubbling away.
I mean,
with some weird foamy substance on the top.
I'm willing to bet that
Like
even
a
if the
crust.
person did end in there, that's all that's there. I mean, it's a pretty industrial.
You don't want to
Slurry.
poke it?
I don't want to make an assumption and then get slapped by some kind of nasty acid tentacle or something.
Oh, I didn't.
You have one of those?
He's not.
Don't
gonna...
assume.
I don't.
We've been over this. It's none of my business what's under your robes.
But I am curious.
I will just shut the lid.
It just reaches out. Dunk. The smell, it lingers. But the kind of acrid tang is definitely going to be there for a little bit. The cogitator, on the other hand, is older. It is certainly it definitely has been accessed and used by people who didn't worry about cleanliness when they were doing their work.
Not properly venerating the machine spirit.
You're pretty sure with about an hour of the right psalms and incense and such and unguents that you can probably get the cogitator back to a shape that you actually enjoy and that you think would mollify the machine spirit.
As soon as I have the time, which would be preferably now, I would like to do exactly that.
You do. You have a little bit of time before the evening when the person you're investigating is supposed to be showing up at the bar. So you have a little bit of time if you wish. So
I guess I will prepare racks. I imagine I am carrying bedroll.
okay. Yeah, so you're basically starting to set up like a living, a sleeping area, at least where people can be comfortable.
Da.
Sure.
I get into my pack and I unroll and fluff out some of my more appropriate attire, some noble robes from my time in Hive Tarsus. They have not been worn, well, admittedly, in probably a couple decades, but I kept them vacuum packed.
Okay.
Do not have too much fear. Shoulder pads are coming back.
Hey, Starchy, what was it like when when rocks were soft?
Well, a long time ago, everything, looked pretty much the same. But apparently, there was a time before the galaxy was split in twain. That was neat. My grandfather told me about it.
Wow.
Kind of at the tail end of the millennium, when the whole Imperium just basically got cut mostly in half by a giant warp storm. You guys are, by the way, on the other side of said warp storm from Terra. You are as far away from the center of the Imperium as you can basically get right now.
This one over here claims he has been to Holy Terra twice. That is unbelievable.
Yeah.
It is still possible to cross. There's just two very specific points where it is the only passage you can make to and from each half of the Empire of Man.
Holy Terra.
And it is not
Twice.
an easy journey.
So you guys spend about the next hour or two just organizing and fixing up the space so that it makes sense for you. You're able to clean up some of the various different detritus kind of sitting around on the ground. A lot of the old industrial stuff, barrels, old tires, such like that. Definitely things that were used when this was kind of more of a machine shop. But after you guys get that cleaned away, swept, you actually have a decent working area, large table in the center. The lighting is working. The cogitator is now kind of fixed up a little bit to the point where the machine spirit is happily humming along and it's reacting to you in the way that you know it's supposed to. So you're able to kind of start checking on things, do a couple queries, reaching out into the system, and the info net that it functions around inside is able to now. You can effectively Google things now.
I am browsing
Oh.
what normal people might refer to as the internet. But
Pretty
that
much.
doesn't exist in this time period.
Right.
It does,
I
just not in the
mean,
way
it's-
that normal people would
It's
relate.
called the Noosphere, I believe.
No,
That's something slightly different.
The Noosphere is a far more advanced, almost wireless version of this. This is the wired version of you have to. It's a lot more analog. The Noosphere that the tech priests developed way back in the day is a very advanced wireless communication system that they could use to transit information back and forth. So a lot more analog.
So are you on Reddit or 4chan?
Definitely more of a Redditor over 4chan.
Shouldn't we be
Because he
like,
can read.
looking up that guy, doing some research, trying to figure out stuff in advance?
I am hesitant to send Inquisitor Melbrand our location, but he did ask for a report when we did acquire lodgings. Who won't vote? I guess vote.
I can do it. I can do it.
I don't mind sending communique. I just want to know if we all agreed, because he gives me hinky-doody feelings.
He's the one in charge of us. Should we not inform him as per his request to us?
We do not know his motivations at this point.
He's
I
an
believe
inquisitor
that-
in charge of us.
I believe that it is our duty.
Nah.
Yes. I mean,
Duty.
yes.
Okay.
I think we ought to tell him. I mean, we are working for him. I just wouldn't put my back to him in an empty rom.
If
Hey,
you
and
are
if
that
we-
paranoid over our inquisitor, then at minimum just tell him we've acquired safe location.
He did specifically ask for coordinates, though. Okay, so here is what I do. I let him know we have acquired lodgings, I provide coordinates, and if we get blown up, I am right.
Very reassuring.
Okay, let's do this. So I'm going to send our coordinates and location, etc., to Inquisitor Melbrand and let him know that we have established place for at least probably week.
Ah, that famed Vostroyan optimism.
So you send off the information via your secure Vox, to which the response is basically like 2 clicks of acceptance, as opposed to any vocal communication, which is about what you kind of expect in the circumstance, but that is what you get.
That guy is ace.
Well, that's what my intel said about him. My
Ice?
intel said he ought to be ice. It was kind of strange he weren't.
Ace, not ace.
Oh, well,
Well, this
Well,
planet
aces
has
are
plenty of
nice.
ice.
Ace.
lost in translation?
Aces are in the card game that will probably be seen later on.
Yeah, anybody know how to play cards? Do we want to infiltrate game? Do we want to watch game? Do we have plan?
I played a little bit of Pinochle in my day.
I doubt I would
Ah.
look like I belong there. Just putting that down.
You are so good at blending in.
I cannot tell if you are being what they would call facetious with me.
Da. So Maggie said outside, as she was looking around at the people with the clothes that were going like ooh, that there were spectrum. So there was rags and there was ooh, and there were people in the middle.
Some of those boring guys were a little maybe too heavy, maybe a little bit too machiny, smelled a little
too
bit like
middle.
oil, just a little bit too bland to be real. You know what I mean? Like,
As if they were trying to
yes, I have
purposely
met
avoid
Cadians.
attention.
you aren't you?
No, I am Vestroyan.
Oh, I'm sorry. All you IG people look the same to me.
What are you? We are all in the Imperium together.
So
It's confusing as all. It's just armor.
you
Far as the eye can
mentioned
see.
you mentioned research. Was there anything in particular anyone wanted to look up? Anything that they wanted to try to find more information on? You do have the access, and thanks to your spending a couple hours of mollifying the machine spirit, you've removed any of the negative modifiers I was going to give you for using an older, upset machine spirit.
Praise be the Omnissiah!
I for one would like to know where Endrot gets his economic backings. What is his family's money in?
Do you want to start looking up information on Tobias Endrot?
If you could do me the honors there.
Yes.
This will be an
Arghast.
investigation.
I had an idea. Should we maybe check and see if our wires tap first?
That would be a tech roll.
Well, in that case, I will first make that tech roll.
Okay, go
You
ahead.
want different dice?
If you do that tech roll, I can do
Nope.
an investigation roll.
Are you sure?
The machine spirit is not pleased this day.
We could, sing a psalm or something. I don't know.
No.
Something
I
like
mean, to the
righty-tighty,
machine
lefty
spirit.
loosey.
As best as you can figure it, there are no taps or traces on this machine.
As you
Well, I
wish.
feel better.
Outside the normal administratum and security force stuff that they put on them for normal Big Brother purposes.
Alrighty.
Yes.
So I try doing a little bit of investigation.
Okay.
please understand that
Well-
our story is very big on the Astromechanicus.
That's both feast and famine. So,
But
What do
my
you
got?
drum for
How
machine
about,
is mostly percussion.
six icons of success, but a complication.
Oh,
Okay. So what we'll say is your target number was 4, so you may indeed shift one of those. You want it to happen quicker, or do you want to increase the effect?
I would
More
like
information,
to
as it were.
better.
increase the effect.
Okay, so
more
additional
information. More asbestos.
So you're
Asbestos.
reaching out and you're looking for any information you can find on Tobias Endrot. The first things you find upon reaching out and looking into the spots where you're pretty sure you could find the most information, some of the Administratum archives, things like that. The Endrot family is a fairly well-established noble family in Hive Ordinus. They have very close ties to the PDF, where they actually, almost every single male of the family has been an officer in the PDF at some point in their life, and most of the women involved have been either foot troops or in the command as well. So, whereas a lot of the males seem to be kind of in that mid-range, mid-command level, the women are either on grunt level or officer command level. And it seems to be the entire family has their connections there. Everywhere from not only just the security portions, but also in the medical field and all of the other things attached to the PDF. So from like their corpsmen and the medics and all of that, all the way up the chain. And their money is highly tied in with the PDF of the planet.
You find any, like, embarrassing past history that they don't want to talk about? Or, tender points?
As you are perusing, you note that there are a couple little blips of information that are popping up. One of which is advertising what seems to be some sort of charity benefit that is designed to raise money for the widow of fallen PDF troopers. But upon going to that and attempting to access that, you find yourself mistyping slightly, and you access a different spot. And as soon as you do, there's kind of a blink on your system, and an icon kind of starts to make itself, very apparent over the screen, which looks to be a picture of a sunburst with a cog on the outside, and it kind of slowly dawns up on there, almost like a rising sun, and it starts printing out little bits of text about how are you dissatisfied with your life? Do you find the toil of living under the Imperium to be this soul grinding like dystopia, or do you wish to find freedom? Do you wish to find enlightenment through technology? Do you wish to have your cares removed? Do you wish to be exposed to the light of reason?
This is some serious separatist tripe.
I shut off the cogitator.
Yeah, you just oh no, click.
I'm going to immediately, regardless of what he's doing, I'm going to shut it off on him.
Yeah, so you're looking at that like, oh, this is, and then
Heresy. That's heresy is what that is.
angry screech noise. Click. The
Yeah.
whole powers down.
Well, we know that that is disconcerting.
Apparently, the light of reason is advertising, and that is not a good sign.
That is a very bad sign. They feel that they can move almost entirely in the open.
That's pretty brazen, all right.
And that was from the Endrot website? Where were you exactly?
I was
Pretty sure you mistyped something and got
I
to by
missed
accident.
a keystroke while I was going and checking the charity event that is, I believe, the card tournament.
Oh, card tournament. I was going to ask if you'd found any poker tells or, favorite cheating tactics.
Unfortunately, what I found was mostly the
Heresy.
economic and the economic ties of his family to the PDF and all their adjoining bits. But I did, as you said, find a nice little bucket of heresy. And by nice, I mean we should destroy these people.
I vote yes.
Okay, we are killing the local PDF entirely.
That
Let's do this.
Whoa, that's not what we need to do. We need
let's
to
scale it back here.
get the
Slow
root.
down your
back here.
plasma gun there, Furia.
But I have not gotten it started up yet.
Keep it that way.
Oh. You eradicate heresy stem to stern.
We start with the
Completely.
stem and then find out how many leaves are stuck to it.
That just is our problem.
Get it?
No, I have not experienced much plant life.
Oh, all right.
Mechanic
Well, you
planet,
see,
remember?
you got the roots at the bottom, and then there's a stem, and then stuck to the stem are the leaves, and then that's it. Sometimes flowers or seed pods, but you don't cut down the tree in the next field over because this plant's rotten.
So it looks like a signpost.
Yes.
We are looking for a signpost. Okay.
We gotta go find your sign.
Here's your sign.
But we also know that now how the cult affects recruitment. They look for people.
In pop-up ads.
I mean,
Rude.
You're not wrong, but they appeal to the disillusioned. So we might find a possible avenue of recruitment by looking at those who are suffering unduly in this current system.
Oh, I know we're looking for teenagers.
So she wants to kill everybody,
It's
but
creepy
she
if
gets
I
it.
say that. I'm pretty sure it's creepy when you say that. Yes, I believe that's just creepy.
So,
Oh my.
Lysander's dying, but Arghast doesn't get it.
Oh, throne.
You see, Arghast, the non-fully matured have a tendency to rebel against the norms of their society.
When I was an adolescent, I took an orc bullet to the throat. I didn't exactly have what you would call a human upbringing.
When I was an adolescent, I was thrown into a black-holed ship and sat there for, it could have been weeks, it could have been years.
When I was an adolescent, Grandpappy taught me how to make bootleg AMSEC.
Oh, really? This appeals to me. I think that we might be able to. I mean, if you build up a still here, I don't think anyone would actually notice.
I mean, if it makes you feel any better, when Legasov was a teenager, they were being dropped off on a small frozen island with a small group of other troops and told to survive by any means necessary. Here's a boot knife, good luck, and then they left you.
Yeah, that is way you teach adolescents.
So
yeah?
we are not the right crowd to be
Heartwarming.
attempting this.
What are you talking about?
think-
I'm young. I'm hip.
I think
I mean, I got a new hip. This one, the Mechanicus made me a very nice hip.
just because you own a hip or three doesn't mean you are a hip.
Well, I
What
suppose
is
that
a
might
hip?
be accurate.
Digressing.
So I think
So-
I'd be the best contact for trying to find teenagers, but I'd rather not if it's all the same to you.
Let's go back to what we were looking into, and that is Tobias.
Hey, maybe we should look for, I don't know, militiamen. You know, not actual military people, but people who get guns and get people riled up.
So we're going to bar?
Yeah.
Okay. But first we go to card tournament.
Well,
I am okay at cards.
Which, by the way, just happens to be at a bar.
it happens to be
Hey,
at
two
a
cards,
military,
one stone.
a strongly military used bar.
Don't touch anything
It's-
sticky.
Yeah.
What kind of used?
You know.
That's a great question, and I'm sure we'll find out.
Well, you see.
So unless anyone has anything they wish to do in the interim, we will go ahead and fast forward to that evening as you are making your way to the Bravest, the bar in the mid-hive section you're in.
I'm going to do something interesting before we do.
Are you?
I'm going to take off my tech priest robes.
Oh, yeah?
I'm gonna get out some popcorn.
I have normal clothes on underneath.
Oh, okay.
We thought you were
Oh.
naked.
No, the robes aren't like full big drapey robes.
I put away the
I mean,
popcorn.
like,
Honestly,
my
I think
og-
of you, I see Count Dooku.
My augmetics, you
I'm-
mean Grievous?
I'm thinking like
Uh,
Doc Ock.
He looks like Christopher Lee, obviously.
But my augmetics will be actually, if anything, be more apparent. But my affiliation to the Adeptus Mechanicus, less so.
Okay, so you're going to wear more nondescript clothing.
Yes,
Got
and my augmetics, my face, as far as my face goes, my voice box is obviously...
Basically, lower jaw down has been completely replaced.
Yeah.
You know.
It's quite the underbite you've got.
Blah. So he's not wearing the orange robes anymore.
No.
All right.
More like street clothes with a lot of metal showing, which honestly does make him seem a little
Blends
bit
in.
closer, if only because there's one or two things on him that are a little bit different, like his servo arm and his Medicae Mechadendrite, which are a little less common around here, but hidden enough that you're able to blend in a bit more.
The servo
Tuck
arm
it.
folds down like a backpack.
I've-
Talk.
I've changed into my noble's robes, which are fur-lined, gray mink, large stole on it.
Sure.
And as a side note, I will be leaving my axe behind.
Okay.
Shocking as it may be, but it's kind of a little too obvious of my badge of office.
That's fair.
Literally, my badge of office.
Yeah. Okay. So you're leaving your axe and your robes. You're wearing your kind of more noble robes than you were before. You're in better clothing.
Yes.
You're still basically decked out in full Stormtrooper carapace armor.
Also,
You are not removing my armor.
Also,
I will
I'm going.
polish a little bit, speed shine, look tidy, but I always look tidy.
I'm also going to hand my sword over to Legasov. That way, it doesn't look super odd that I'm carrying around a four-sword.
Fair.
No, I can attach to pack. I've got
Okay.
space.
Wrap it up, put it in the pack,
Da.
so it's available but still mostly hidden. And then you're just kind of doing your thing.
I wish
I'm
I could
just
hide my
gonna,
axe, but that sucker
Hook
is big.
the other shoulder strap
Yes,
back
there's a
on
scale
my
difference.
on my dungarees here.
Okay.
Oh, fancy.
Yeah, I got 2 shoulders on now. Extra security.
And as you guys gather
my
your
shirt
things
back
and start
in.
making your way towards the bravest, you'll get to the outside of it where you'll note that the street outside, as it's towards the evening and there's an event happening, you'll see placards up where it's talking about their charity tournament and benefiting widows and all of this. You also note that there's probably a dozen different military transports and paramilitary transports and various other local arbites and the local guard and even local constabulary, just local police forces have parked in almost every available spot for about a block and a half. So as you guys are approaching the doors to this place, that is where we're going to leave you for this episode.
Oh, I was gonna say, do we have that cover charge, or are we just gonna?
I'm going to roll eyebrow until they let us in.
That's entirely fair.
Oh.
But we will get you in next time. So thank you again, dear Digidicers, for joining us for another episode of Accidental Crusade. And until next time.
Game on, Internet!